The following program was pre-recorded. To ask a question on the air, call 1-800-229-3000 Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you decided to get wiser today by listening to New Life Live. You know, we've got some great co-hosts here. Dr. Jill Hubbard is psychologist, author, and speaker, and just incredibly wise woman, as well as JJ West, marriage and family therapist, as well as, I think you're a preacher at heart, JJ. That's what I think. And he also speaks at our Intimacy in Marriage and our Every Man's Battle intensive. I want to know what's on your mind, JJ. What do you got for us?
Well, you know, it's been extremely hot down here in Florida for about the last month. We've had record temperatures. We're in something called a heat dome, and it's just been super hot and dry. And what we know is that there's actually a song by an artist that I love, a guy named David Wilcox, called "All the Roots Grow Deeper When It's Dry," And what we know is that when it's dry, when it's a season of drought, that plants will dig their roots deep and they will draw nutrients from whatever soil they're in. And so it got me thinking about what kind of soil is my life currently in? What are the nutrients that are around me so that those seasons when it feels like God is distant, those times when it feels like, boy, when is the rain going to come, God? When are you going to refresh me? What does the soil of my life look like? Am I planted in? Am I meditating in things that are going to give me healthy things that I can grow from, or am I surrounded by things that are going to cause decay and cause disease? And so it's, I'm just thinking about that, like what are the, and kind of asking that question to the larger audience as well. What does the soil of my life look like right now? And would I survive a dry season?
I love that. It reminds me of the passage in Colossians of being rooted and planted in Christ. And that's such a great concept too, you know, because we hear from people who are struggling and they're not attached or rooted in anything that's going to give them life. I think it's just a profound thought, especially in a time of dryness or struggle. Joe, what do you think?
Well, and I think about Psalm 1 where it talks about the trees being planted by the river, right? Where there's water and there's nutrients. And so, where do we find ourselves? And certainly in a dry season, do we know where to go to for our sustenance? And that's so important. I love it, JJ.
Yeah, I just recently, I am not a horticulturist. I know, JJ, your wife is expert at this, but I planted a tree. We planted a tree in honor of my dad's passing, and they put in there a little packet of, it wasn't just plant food, it was like bio something. It was like nutrients for that root to take hold. And so what you're saying, we have to do more than just hope that things grow. We have to add things to our lives. And there are people that we need to add, God's word, serving, prayer, therapy, because, you know, everybody needs therapy now and again. But I'm so grateful for that insight, JJ, and we're grateful for you. If you have difficulty in feeling like you are rooted and planted in love, we can help you. You can call us 1-800-229-3000. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with some great wisdom and answering your calls.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction.
He was unfaithful. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Intensive is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
There were strip clubs. My husband is a recovering sex addict.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 12th through the 14th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
I'm Steve Arterburn with a New Life Moment. The Bible has much to say about forgiveness. Its central theme is God seeking and saving those in dire need of forgiveness. Jesus willingly died on the cross for you and me, even though we often don't feel a need to be forgiven. Even though you and I all too often continue to exhibit our rebellious nature. Through faith in Jesus, God forgives us in spite of ourselves. But there's more. God's forgiveness is a creative force. It spills out to you when you receive it and affects every one of your human relationships. This being the case, forgiveness is both a gift and a command of God. This is where things get sticky. Not only can forgiveness be difficult, but we have a way of making the whys, whens, and hows of forgiveness quite confusing. For some practical help, visit me, Steve Arterburn, at newlife.com, and thanks for listening to this New Life Moment.
I always enjoy Steve's wisdom and just the way that he can think about those things that we don't think about all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're grateful for that. Well, we're going to go to the calls. We are going to talk with Faithful, who's calling us from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and WAVA is where she listens to us. How can we help you, Faithful?
Yes, good afternoon. I wanted to ask a question for a niece who has 4 children. 3 of them live with her. They're 8 years old, going on 9, 12 years old, going on 13, and a 14-year-old going on 15, and he happens to be masturbating within the home where all of the family members can hear it. And my niece has asked me to seek out a resource. And today, as I did my devotion, I thought, oh, wow, let me call New Life. I've been listening for about 30 years, I guess, and it's been helping me through a lot of losses and things. But nonetheless, and it's been helping me to help others. So I don't know what I've been given along the way. I think I have a little bit here and there, but we'll get to that later. I just need some help to know how to help her.
Okay, well, let's start with you, JJ. This is something that you help the men at Every Man's Battle with, and he's in the Every Young Man's Battle journey right now, obviously. Mm-hmm. So what would you say that Faithful could help her niece with this situation?
Yeah, Faithful, first question. Do you know, he's 14, is that correct?
Yes, he'll be 15 in November.
Okay, is he aware that everybody can hear him?
I believe he is, because the niece said that the walls are thin, and it just doesn't seem to, I don't think it phases him, or maybe it does. I don't know, because I'm not there in that respect.
Okay. Because, it does make a little bit of a difference.
Doing it. Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly...
Anytime during the day, anytime, mm-hmm. Morning, noon, or night, or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Sure. It makes sense that a 14 going on 15-year-old boy would be engaged in masturbation because, 1, it feels good. 2, they have all kinds of hormones running through their body. They're trying to understand what's happening, these changes that they're going through with, either in the middle of or nearing the end of puberty, and he's trying to kind of understand the world around him as well as himself, right? But it is interesting that he would be engaging at a level where if he knows that everybody can hear him, that's a added layer to this. That there may be an aspect where there could be some kind of on the spectrum where he's not fully aware of this kind of the social norms that would be expected of him. So it would be important for the niece to have a very frank, and by the way, is the father in the picture?
No.
He's not at all. Not just not in the home, but he's not in the picture at all.
Not in the picture at all.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, it's gonna be more difficult for your niece to have this conversation one-on-one with her son, but she has to have a very frank conversation to say, look, it's normal to have these desires. It's normal to be exploring your body and to be exploring what feels good. However, it's also important that you understand that you live in community with others. And that means that you can't just behave however you want when how you are behaving is making other people feel uncomfortable. And so we want to talk about the fact that you're doing this in a way that everybody can hear, okay? And then secondly, we want to talk about, even though something feels good, that doesn't automatically mean it's something that I should explore. It's something that I should engage in. There are a lot of things that feel good, but are not necessarily healthy for me long term. And so it would be important for her to talk through what are some of the results of compulsive masturbation, as well as I'm guessing that he's probably including some sort of pornography or fantasy, and what is that doing in terms of creating how he views other people, right? So it'd be really important for him for your niece to have the conversation with him. It might be helpful for her to have him read the Every Young Man's Battle book.
We will send it. Yeah, we'll send it. And then to talk through that together. Like, okay, listen, this is not something to be ashamed of that you want to masturbate. It's not something to be ashamed of that you have sexual desire. But we want to learn to cultivate these desires in a way that honors God and treats others around us with respect. I love that, Jill.
Yeah, well, along the same lines, and I'm sorry that there isn't a man in the house, and I certainly understand, having been a single mom myself and having to address things with my son. And with my children, I started really young, just being very clinical about things. You have to really talk to yourself, and the problem is a lot of times we're uncomfortable or we feel embarrassed, and you just have to put that aside and just put the issues out on the table matter-of-factly. Let them be more uncomfortable than your niece. And so putting some boundaries around this is important. That, again, she understands this is an age where boys engage in this, and yet the excessiveness of it and the loudness of it, knowing he has younger siblings in the home that could hear and could be traumatized by that. If he cannot show some restraint, then she's going to have to step in. Like, if she hears him, she's going to have to open his bedroom door. Like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to let you know it's too loud and ask you to stop. And so that may feel uncomfortable to him. Now, if he's wanting that, then there's a little bit of exhibitionism, and that's a whole nother level. I think that him not having a dad in the home, it's really important that he have other male role models. A lot of churches now even are having, like support groups for boys where they're talking about sexual issues because it's so prevalent. And so getting him involved in something like that, perhaps getting him into counseling so that these issues don't continue and become a way of life for him, because he's doing this. Yes, physically, his hormones are raging, but it's a good way to escape. So what else is he feeling? What are some of the inadequacies he's feeling already as a 14-year-old boy who doesn't have a father? And so I think addressing those issues will help to curb this behavior.
Okay. I hope that's helpful, Faithful. You get any questions that you want to ask?
Well, the thought was, I appreciate all of the suggestions and recommendations, which I jotted down as best I could as you were talking, that I will share with her. The fact is he has older cousins that are like 17 and 18, and they're on these tablets or they use their phones to look at whatever. And I think she's kind of given him free will. I mean, she's not been prudent in doing some kind of monitoring or boundaries. So she's kind of part of the problem in a way. But it's a kind of situation. She's an adopted niece, and I have to go very gingerly with her. There's some things I wanted to share, and I just said, okay, just hold on.
Listen, I love the name Faithful, and you are faithful because you're supporting her in that way, and you're, like what Jill said, it's hard to be a single mom with all of these responsibilities. So a lot of parents, not just your niece, are turning to screen parenting, literally, and it's really a challenge. But I tell you, as JJ can attest, this is planting a problem, a future problem for him. Would you say that's true, JJ?
Yeah, and the truth is, she can even though it's been already kind of established that they have their electronic devices in their room, they can change that rule. She can have a new rule that says, listen, you can be on the tablet when you're out here in the living room, but we're not going to have computers, tablets, laptops, phones in the bedrooms or the bathrooms.
She can put controls on it that shut
shut
the electronics down at a certain hour.
Yes.
Okay.
We're so grateful that you called, Faithful. We're going to send you. Go ahead.
Is there a resource for her that she could have as well as a single mom and struggling and has her own issues?
Yeah, but I'm thinking Alice's book about screen time, because she's got the younger ones that she can train better.
We will send 2 books. I know that's a really bad thing, but no, we're going to send you 2 books, Faithful. We're going to send you Every Young Man's Battle, and we're also going to send you Understanding and Loving Your Children in a Screen-Saturated World. I think that's a great suggestion, Jill. One of the things that when we talk about Every Man's Battle, and we've got the intensive coming up real soon. Today's the last day for early bird discount, but as you have said before, JJ, we've got scholarships available. But we just received an email from someone whose husband waited too long to get the help, and now he's serving time in jail. And she was shocked that was where his addiction led him. And I tell you, if, just like what Faithful is talking about, if you've got a loved one who's struggling with their sexual integrity, we don't want it to be too late. We want to be able to get the help to them. And JJ, I know you and the team do such a great job. And it's really a no shame zone. We want people to get help. We want the men to experience life free and, as a man of integrity. So we invite you to join JJ and the team in Washington, D.C. on June 28th. You got an early bird rate right now and scholarships available. So
I think it's Orange County, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. You're right. I had D.C. in my head. Sorry. Orange County, California. Thank you. We're going to go back to the calls. We're going to talk with Franny, who's calling us from Flemington, New Jersey, listens on WBYN. Hello, Franny. How can we help you today?
Well, I'm concerned because I have a son who is, over 50, 53, 54 years old. And he's married. He has 2 adult children. I have 2 boys that are out of high school. And I'm concerned because when we talk now, he said he doesn't want me to bother him because of the fact that he thinks that he's not affected by it, and I have a problem. And I'm a procrastinator. I don't want to hurt anybody. And so I, try to But I know that that's not good if he's not now calling me back or discussing it at least.
Franny, what is the big issue with your son that he doesn't want you to talk to him about?
Is that he's not affected. He thinks that because he doesn't drink, he's not affected by his father's drinking.
Okay, very good. All right, well, you can hear the music. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get back with you after this break. You know,
yeah, and I need support I need support now where I don't have this support, and like I say,
you waited. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. There's lots of reasons for that, too. Well, we're grateful that you called. Hold on just a second. We're going to take a quick break, and we will answer your question. And it is always something. We're glad to be here for you. We'll be right back.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hit with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I ended up getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are taking calls, 1-800-229-3000. We want to help you in any way that we possibly can. We're talking with Franny right now, who is concerned that her adult son isn't dealing with the fact that his father was an alcoholic. Is that right, Franny? Do I have that right?
He knows he was, but he knows he was. But in fact, he wrote a beautiful story about how alcohol took his father away.
Oh, good. And, that's a way of processing.
And only he doesn't. I don't have this story. Only he had it, and he worked. He's on disability because he went down to the zero ground with 2001 when the planes bombed.
Oh, ground zero. Gosh.
And he is affected. He was affected by the
PTSD.
Going down and helping and all the dust and things.
Yes.
And he has
myo. Yeah, I can never say it either. But Franny, what you're talking about is you feel disconnected from him. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, definitely. And, my husband sees it different, too, with his daughter. And the both of us, we've been married since 2005, my husband and I. And we have both, he had two girls, and I had, a boy and a girl.
Okay.
And his one daughter died, and his grandson committed suicide.
Oh,
and
wow.
But this is your current husband, not your son's father.
But my current husband, we were married since 2005.
Okay, but you're calling, Franny, about your son.
That's right.
And you're concerned for him. And
that's right.
It sounds
That's
like
how he's thinking that he is not affected by his father's alcoholism.
Okay. Well, and it sounds like there's other things in his life that have caused him difficulty. It sounds like some post-traumatic stress from what he experienced on 9/11. So has he done any type of therapy for those issues?
Right. And I've asked to go with him, or him to come with me, and I started with he said, well, I can't afford that, and I said I would help.
That's
I would
good.
help, but he doesn't think he has a problem, so why would he go to therapy?
Okay, well, that's why I was thinking maybe with the 9/11 issues, obviously they have affected him, and maybe he would acknowledge that a little bit more. But here's the thing, Franny, your son's an adult. He's 53. He's got his own family, own struggles. He's got children, and he's running his own life. And us parents, we can see things, but unless he sees it and unless he's willing, we can't make them get the help we think that they need. And if you keep harping on that with him, you will put distance in your relationship.
Right, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't done that at all.
That's good.
I only call him about, would you like to go out to dinner?
Perfect.
Or, Thanksgiving is coming up, and or something like that. But no, I never do that. Or, it's mostly inviting him out and, to get together, that's all.
Right. So you invite him into relationship and try to, have a good...
Then he has his wife's family, so he goes there.
Sure.
And I figured they had more children, young, when my son was growing up. They had more children in that family, so I thought they kids like to play with kids.
Right. So Franny, you're talking about trying to stay connected while you're still worried about him. You're worried about his.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't talk about anything but the weather, or there's something wrong there.
That's right. Well, JJ, what would you say to Franny in this situation?
Yeah. So Franny, you're starting to hint at some things that I would be wanting you to explore, because it's not enough and it's not helpful really to go to someone and say, hey, listen, because your dad was an alcoholic, you must have some problems that you need to deal with. So you should go do that, right? That's not usually very helpful, and it's not going to usually be very well received. But if there are specific behaviors that you're seeing, or lack of behaviors that you're seeing in your son that are causing you concern, that you think might be tied to the impact of his father's alcoholism, those would be the things to address. So, for instance, if it concerns you that your relationship with him feels surfacey, we only talk about the weather or how work is going, but we don't really talk about emotions or what's happening with the family. That could be something that you could share with him and say, hey, I would really like for us to work on sharing at a deeper level. And if we find that that's difficult for us, would you go to counseling with me so we could work on that? Because I want to work on a healthier relationship with you, as opposed to, I think you're broken because your dad was an alcoholic and you should go to counseling, right? So it's a different way to address the same issue.
Yeah, it's really good insight. JJ, Franny, we're going to send you a copy of Dr. Jim Burns' Doing Life with Your Adult Children. Keep the welcome mat out and your mouth shut, which is so painful sometimes. I also want to encourage you to pray for him. I know you probably do. But I think Jim's book will give you some insight into maybe creating some of those other topics so that we don't become a one-topic parent. It's tough. Parenting doesn't end, does it? I mean, it just changes. That's all. We're glad you called, Franny. We'll be back right after this break.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You know, one of the questions that we get all the time is about the women who have been betrayed in the relationship when a husband's sexual integrity has failed, and the pain and the hurt that comes through that. And we have our Restore Intensive that can make such a difference. And many women will say, well, why do I need to go? And listen, you have been hurt, you've been wounded, and you need that help and that support. Let's hear from the speakers, Stacy Smith and Laura Manja McDonald.
We didn't cause it, but it's our responsibility to heal it. We're going to be stuck in that pain, and it's going to identify us, define us, until we are able to get with some sisters, open up our heart, deal with the trauma neurologically, physically, relationally, spiritually, in every aspect. All of those wounds can be opened up in a safe place because we cannot heal alone. We need community.
Healing is scary. So we hear a lot of excuses like, I'm too busy, it's his problem, you know, why should I be there? Or, you know, the world's going to fall apart if I'm not there. The kids have got to go to all these things. And one thing that a lot of very efficient women try to do is just keep going with their life. You know, kids have soccer practice, and kids have lessons, and kids have this, and kids have that. And we forget about ourselves. And what happens is, hey, you're the captain of that ship. You know, I've got a husband that's either not in recovery or busy recovering. The onus is on you to be as healthy as you can be. Right. And that is something that you can control. And if you take good care of yourself, you know, the old oxygen mask on yourself first, then your kids are going to feel it, your family's going to feel it if you're the one getting healthy.
I love that. It's so true. It's true across any kind of situation, but especially in this one, because that's usually the excuse is I don't have time, or this is his problem. Why do I need to take care of it? I cannot impress enough how we have to do the work for our own healing.
Well, and you don't have time because you're probably doing the work for two people while they're off in their addiction.
Yes. Well, and the pain, you just got to, you know, you just carry it with you. So it makes everything you're doing harder.
Sure
we
does.
have Restore coming up July 12th through 14 in Dallas, and we can help you with any, you know, way that you can get there, whether it's a scholarship or whether you just need the information, or maybe you're a Restore alumni and you know someone who needs to go. why don't you call her and just encourage her to take part in her self-care? We're so grateful to be able to offer this because we know that healing is possible, and we want to offer that. We're so grateful, for just the way that the groups come together, and to see each other, just knowing that you're not the only one, and it wasn't because of you. It was just something that it happened to you.
And sometimes in your regular life, it's hard to admit these things that are going on in your home. Yes. You take on the shame of the person you're in relationship with. And so to come into a group where all these women get it, they are feeling similar feelings that you're feeling, and to be able to talk it through and make sense of it, because in our own brains, we tell ourselves all kinds of things. And so we need that clarity and that perspective and that saying it out loud to save people.
Right. And it's not a man haters event. That's not it at all. We want healthy people.
It's
women and men.
Crazy making event. Takes you out of the crazy making.
Maybe that's what we'll title it someday. But anyway, just check out Restore and join us there July 12th through 14th in Dallas. A lot of times we know that you're listening at different times when the radio show is live or not live. You're listening on the app, you listen on YouTube in different times, and we want to be available to answer your questions. So we created a way for you to connect. You can go to newlife.com/radio, and you'll find out a way for you to submit a question that we can answer here during a live broadcast. And, also, if you are part of Club New Life, we created a new special thing where you can go to the front of the line. And it's a new Club New Life benefit where we can schedule your call. You can, pick the day, time, and we will answer the call on the air. And we would love to help you with that process. You can send an email to cnlradio@newlife.com and ask about first caller of the day, and we'll get you connected. Well, since I'm calling about submitted questions, we're going to answer this question submitted by Carol from California. Her question is, am I out of bounds suggesting a family intervention to confront my brother-in-law and nephew about their drinking and marijuana? The background is her sister for the past 10 years has been living with 2 addicts in her home, her husband and her 27-year-old son. Her husband's an alcoholic, and her son does marijuana and drinking, and neither can hold a job. Both have been to rehab once, but started drinking as soon as they got out. Both are in denial. They've both had at least 2 DUIs and have totaled cars. And Carol says she took her nephew twice to see a counselor, but he refused to go anymore. And her sister will set down the boundaries, but never follows through with the consequences. Thus, nothing changes. Carol and her brother are doing 12-step and have suggested Al-Anon, and the sister's like, she didn't like the people in the meetings and she didn't want to go because she doesn't think it works for her, and all the excuses that we hear all the time. So what would you two suggest for Carol? Yes, she's asking this question. Is she out of bounds suggesting an intervention for this family? JJ, let's start with you.
Yeah, so Becky, am I understanding correctly? The Carol is the sister of the woman who's married to. Okay, yes. All right, gotcha. Yeah, so I don't think that she's out of bounds in suggesting that something needs to change. That's certainly true, because there's been clear consequences, ongoing consequences that are also escalating. Right? It's not just you're drinking at the house when there's a social gathering and you're getting too loud. There is now DUIs and totaled cars and failed attempts at rehab, right? So there's enough evidence there to say something needs to change. I think Carol needs to think through what kind of relationship does she want to have with her sister? Because if she comes in with, hey, we need to do this intervention whether you want to or not, she may end up losing relationship with her sister. And so it might be good for her to talk through with the sister to say, I don't think that you are seeing the
The magnitude.
The magnitude of the problem because you have started and then stopped, started and then stopped. You're not following through with whatever consequences have been tried in the past. And so the problem keeps escalating. And it's to the point now where I need to say to you, sister, I love you too much to let you continue down this path without saying something, right? I'm not trying to run your life. I'm not trying to be in charge of what you do, but I love you, and I'm watching your life get smaller and smaller because of the choices that your husband and your son are making. And I want to be able to help. And I think a way to help would be for us as a family to intervene in some way and to bring this more out in the open and talk about the impact that their choices are making on not just on you, but on the extended family as well.
It's so hard. Jill?
Yeah, the sister is definitely part of the problem because she's too close and she's gotten desensitized and manipulated by these two people. And so you just become a part of it, and you can see how she's accepting worse and worse behavior and making excuses for it. So I love, JJ, your approach of really telling her, because I think your sister by herself doesn't feel like she has enough power to do anything. And so the idea of we want to lovingly come around you and help you and to give you some strength to be able to affect some change. But I think she is going to be met with some resistance from the sister. I mean, the fact that she already went to Al-Anon and she's rejecting that, and that's where I've said this in a previous show, you have to go multiple times, at least 6 times before you reject it.
And maybe Carol can go. Maybe she can offer. I'll go with you.
Yes.
So you at least know one other person there. And if you want, we'll go to a different one than you went to before.
Yes.
But let's follow Jill's advice of going at least 6 times before we say no.
Or try a couple and pick one and then go 6 times. Yeah, that's a good way to start. And you're right, JJ. If she went with her, I think that would be more effective. But to kind of be holding up that mirror that the magnitude of this problem is now leaking out into the rest of the family. And we're worried for you.
Right. Well, we do have interventionists that we connect families to. And, Carol, it may be worth talking to one of those interventionists. So give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll connect you, and they can maybe suggest if that's going to be part of the plan. But, man, it's so much pain. And the 2 people that are struggling in the addiction, they're in pain. It's really a mess. We need to pray for this family. We'll be right back after this message.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Daniel Grossman on coaching.
Coaches are really focused on the future and helping people to develop those skills and those strategies to help them move forward in their life. A coach really partners with you to focus on things like personal growth or health goals, spiritual growth, helping you develop in your career, or possibly strengthening your relationships, or maybe even breaking free from a negative pattern.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been screened and certified with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches use different techniques. Some like to use strategic questions and accountability. ultimately empowering you to take those next steps towards your goals.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a new life coach today.
I really believe that everyone can use a coach in their corner.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You hear me talk about life recovery, and Jill mentioned life recovery today. We have a conference, and we've got one. It's going to be online in October 5th, 2024. So I'm just telling you about it now. You can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register. The title is The Courage to Change. You can join us and get tools to help you along this process of recovery. And, we can live out the wisdom of the Serenity Prayer. You hear us talk about recovery is for everyone. It is. It's not just for people who are struggling in the addiction, but it's literally to learn the steps and the process to get to the place of serenity. Steve once said on a teaching where he talked about if you would just read through the 12 steps, you might find some wisdom there. And it's really funny because people will judge the 12 steps but never have read them. And, so when you think about who should attend this conference, of course, I would say everyone. And usually what happens after our recovery conference, people go, oh, I wish I would have known how great this was. I would have told my friend about this and we would have come, or my church. And we're going to cover topics of the history of recovery, codependency, shame, trauma, relapse, sexual integrity for men and women, betrayal for men and women, boundaries, understanding and loving someone in recovery, forgiving and making amends. Listen, you don't want to miss it. Go and see all about it at New Life or liferecoverygroups.com, and we will also take your calls at New Life, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We are going back to a submitted question by Linda. And, like I said before, we just love the opportunity to connect with you in any way possible. And Linda is writing us about how do I get my married adult son to get help for his undiagnosed ADD. Her 46-year-old married son has not been diagnosed with ADD, but I feel he's many symptoms. She read the book, Understanding and Loving a Person with ADD. We have that if you're interested. He's tried counseling, but not specific to ADD. ADD is attention deficit disorder, by the way. And he also has been taking medication, which bring the side effects. He works from home, and that's not really helpful. His spouse yells at him and threatens divorce. They have a big house and a large yard to take care of, and things are overwhelming him. She feels that he could benefit from a life recovery group or a coach, but money's an issue. She also recognizes she has ADD symptoms, but his symptoms are exacerbated by lack of support, good routine, healthy eating, or good sleep habits. How can I help him? Well, Jill, let's start with you on this one.
Well, it's difficult and painful to watch, especially when you identify with some of these issues, but maybe you've taken some steps to address them, and you see your son dealing with the weight of life and all the burdens and things unraveling. So that is very painful, and it's hard to address, again, with an adult who maybe isn't wanting your input or help. So I think, in again, inviting him into relationship, coming alongside him and saying, sweetheart, I've noticed some things. It seems like you're struggling. How can I help? And let him, first of all, vent to you if he's willing. And then offer in terms of what you can offer. I think perhaps if his marriage is at risk here, it may be that his spouse doesn't understand ADHD, and quite frankly, it is difficult to live with. I know Dr. Amen has written some things on being the partner of someone who's ADHD. And so getting a little bit of education and understanding, and also helping your son, because I'm sure he feels really bad about himself if he's always scrambling and overwhelmed. And so he needs to know that this is because of his brain right? That he has a divergent brain, and that there is help. And while medication brings side effects, there's also behavioral interventions, food interventions, and just getting an understanding and being kinder to yourself can go a long way.
I love that. JJ, what would you add for Linda?
Yeah, I would start with, since Linda has said that she also struggles with ADD, I think it could be really helpful for her to share specifically with her son the things that have helped her. So to talk about, I've been to therapy for my ADD, and this is what I've learned, and this is how it's helped. I have instituted a new exercise or sleep regimen, and this is how it's helped. I've taken medications, and this is how they've helped, right? Specifically share with him, these are the things that I've done, not from the perspective of, hey, you've got to get your act together, you've got to start doing something to fix this, but from the perspective of, hey, I've found some things to be helpful. Maybe it could help you. I don't know, because I don't live inside your mind. I don't know how you feel. But if you think that you have some of the same issues that I have, even though they haven't been diagnosed officially, maybe you could talk to someone and find the same help that I have found. Right. So it's sharing specifically from a positive perspective of, this is what I have found to be helpful.
Well, and that this runs in families.
Yeah.
That he probably
Absolutely.
got it from her.
Well, and I love what you just said, though, Jill, about it is a brain thing. It's not like, so there are two things that are going on here. It's his brain is this way, and he's got a lot of stress in his life. And the other part of that, too, is depending on their conversations, right? JJ, you just referred to like her doing her work. This is, Recovery 101. It's like just, you got to do your stuff. But a lot of times when you're struggling with something, you observe it in somebody else and you think, I can tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to do anything for mine, but I'm going to tell you how you need to be fixed, because that will make me feel better.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, of course.
And your life's way more out of control than mine.
Exactly. It'll make me feel less stressed. And, I just think our self-care also brings us that relief, because then she can be open to helping as opposed to trying fixing. And that's the hard part about some of these calls that we've answered today, right? What is the difference between fixing and caring? What would you guys say?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
Well, fixing, like you were saying, Becky, is kind of coming in like, I know what you need. And I want to calm my own anxiety about your broken life because it makes me uncomfortable. So here, you need to do this, this, and this. Okay. The other is the idea, and what JJ's been talking about and I've been talking about, is coming alongside and caring and being curious and asking questions and engaging with a person and then offering support and asking them how you can help.
That's right. JJ?
Right. Yeah, exactly. When I'm caring for someone, I am expressing to them, I am with you. I'm supportive of you. I'm beside you, regardless of whether or not you take my advice, get better, do the things that I think you should do. No, I'm with you because I care about you. I believe this will be helpful for you. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't see, these are not oracles from the Lord that I know this is going to help you. I think this is going to help you, but I care about you. And if this ultimately proves not to be helpful, I'm not going to cut off relationship with you. Let's keep looking for something that will be helpful. But I am with you to care for you because you're important to me. You're important in my life. And I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you suffer. It's uncomfortable to see you suffer. But as you're suffering, I'm not going to abandon you.
I love that. I love that. Well, Linda, I hope that's helpful. We're here for you if you need a counselor, a group. Maybe you'll join us at one of our intensives. It can make a difference in your life. We are here for you. Call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Jill, and thank you, JJ, and thank you, listeners. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.